Hey there, it's Friday, and that means then it's Denise's Friday 5. And today we're going to talk about 5 tips on the art and science of your copy. Now, just if you're new to me, just a little bit about me. I'm Denise Fay. I teach, I train, and I mentor business owners and executives on copywriting and communicating clearly using the written word. I'm an award-winning author of 31 Days to Write Better Copy. And you may be asking, what exactly is Friday 5? So Friday 5 does what it says on the tin. It's 5 quick tips on either copywriting, marketing, communications. And so today it's all about copywriting. So let's just get started. The first tip today I wanted to talk about was, I suppose, it's try tasty little paragraphs. And a paragraph should explain and conclude one single idea in a paragraph. You know, in academic writing and in novels, ideas can be afforded a lot of space, but in copywriting, definitely shorter is sweeter. Walls of text generally tend to intimidate readers who want to quickly get to your point. So remember, you're bargaining with people's time, and the only way that they'll spend their hard-earned time with you is if you turn your copy into bite-sized segments. So it just makes it so much easier to read. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Chunk it down. And when I say chunk it down, I'm kind of thinking break it down into little pieces, like almost like a chocolate bar. Because if you decide on the objective of your copy, which you have done at the very beginning, then you can mastermind your plan like an evil genius. So what I want you to do is keep your objective in mind. Then take your information in its chunky state. Scrape away all that unwanted layers, leaving you with a piece of copy that's actually quite lean and sexy, dare I say that word. So really it can strut up and down like, Muscle Beach, and it's all so perfectly fine and lean. But really, at the end of the day, I suppose taking the funny side out of it, it will leave you with all the essentials. So you'll be able to describe your news or your story or your product, whatever it is. So therefore, it's allowing your reader to pass effortlessly over your copy and enjoy all the delicious chocolatey delights that you have on offer. So think about that. Chunk it down like a chocolate bar. And I suppose I'm a big fan of chocolate, so that's why I thought I'd put that little analogy in there. Now, the third little tip is to jazz it up, and what I mean by that is definitely be a word DJ. So while your copy should be consistent in tone and message, and I'm always a big believer in that, that's one of the reasons why I focus on what I do, is that I want you to have a consistent message and a consistent tone and a consistent approach to your marketing. But I definitely think that you should have a playful structure, making it easy to read, and this is really where the science comes in. So if you use a variety of sentence lengths to keep the rhythm of your text dynamic, it'll dance across the page with a couple of stretched out sentences, and then maybe you can squeeze a small one into it. So it keeps it really interesting, and people are like if you think about music, they're nodding their head, but with words they're actually kind of following it, and it's actually quite interesting because it keeps the reader curious. And I also want you to think about how the page appears. Mixing up paragraphs makes a better first impression than uniform blocks of text, which is pretty much what we spoke about in tip number 1. So you always use lists, bullet points, text boxes. They're easy ways to liven up your copy. So if you think about a jazzy song or a pop song, it's not the same beat the whole way through. So if it's not the same beat the whole way through in a song, well then the same should be applicable to your copy. Make sense? Hope so. Moving on to tip number 4. And we've spoken about this before. I think the very first time I brought back the Friday 5s, we talked about the letter U, or the letter U, do you hear me, the word U. So I do want to bring it up here. Address your reader directly, because if you think about it, what's everyone's favourite topic? It's themselves. So simply by saying you, your reader is pulled into the text and everything becomes about them. So when you put in you, when you put in yours, that means then it's all about them, and it helps you to write. And in fact, actually, if you think about it, most of our communication is with other people, so we don't generally talk to people, we do this and we do that, we'll talk about you. So just kind of bring it kind of talk about it. It's a bit more natural for you and your reader. So we talked about that before. Go back to Friday 5, where we talk about, I think, 5 secret tips to transform your marketing material. You'll get more information there. And lastly, our last tip is splash your creativity. And really, this is actually coming back to the art bit. Writing really is an art form, and just as the artists have their oils and their brushes, us writers have our own tools as well. Literary devices can add elements of play. If you think about it, imagination or challenge, can challenge your reader. So the more you wake up your brain, or the more you wake up their brain, the memorable your copy will be. Alliteration is a great one. And I've actually got this bit written down, so just because I'd remember it. So you ready for it? Alliteration always arrests attention. Hyperbole will blow your mind, and the occasional metaphor is the icing on the cake. So that's just 3 examples of literary devices. They're alliteration, hyperbole, and metaphor. And a lot of people generally tend to forget about them. And when you've actually got them in it, people do understand and they do follow, and it is playful. So it goes back to you being a word DJ, like in tip number 3. So I hope that makes sense. So let's actually summarize them. So try tasty little paragraphs. Chunk your copy down into pieces like chocolate. No need to actually have big walls of text. Jazz it up. So jazz up your structure. Long sentences, short sentences, long paragraphs, short paragraphs. Address your reader directly. I think that's important. Put in you, yours. Remove the we, remove the I. And then the last bit, on the arty bit, splash your creativity across the page. Remember that little alliteration always arrests attention. Hyperbole will blow your mind, and the occasional metaphor is the icing on the cake. So they're pretty useful and pretty underused tools that I think that if you start using them, your competitors won't, and that would probably make the difference. So I just want to talk to you about a little tip or a little gift, I suppose, to you. So 7 super simple steps to writing successfully. I've got a little book. It's my proven 7-step writing system. I follow it religiously every time I write, and it's 7 steps, not 5 steps. That's why we haven't talked about it on Friday 5. But I talk about everything from headlines to emotions, from handwriting to vocalizing, and it is my gift to you. So head on over there to denisefay.com. 7 super simple steps to writing successfully, all one word. Download it's only a small PDF. It's only small, but it's jam-packed with information, and I think that you'll find it really useful. If you find Friday 5 useful, you're going to love this. So head on over there to denisefay.com. 7 super simple steps to writing successfully. And then finally, let's connect. If we're not connected on Facebook or on LinkedIn or on Google+, head on over and ask me a question, or if anything's unclear from this Friday 5, just drop me an email, and I'd love to hear from you. Okay, that's it for another week. Have a good one. Take care. Bye.